Hello viewers, this is Bruce Dean here, and I don't know how to start videos. So, now that I'm done pitching how I would handle the MCU reboot after Secret Wars, I figured I'd try my hand at my preferred franchise, DC. For this video, I would like to pitch my ideas on how to handle Batman and the DCU. I would like to clarify, although I do have several scripts written for my own personal DC-connected universe, that is not what this is. This is completely unattached to my Elseworlds universe. This pitch video in particular is solely attached to James Gunn's DCU Batman. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get into it. It has been confirmed that Damian Wayne will be the main Robin of the first movie, and that the Bat family will already be established. With that being said, it has also been established that Bruce is roughly the same age as Clark in this universe, meaning Bruce should be in his early to mid-30s as Clark is only 33 in his first movie. So contrary to what a lot of people online are saying, this is not going to be an older Batman like the DCEU. I think they should make animated projects to show the history of the Bat family in this universe. For instance, we could get an animated origins for Bruce, Dick, Jason, Tim, and the rest so that we can see the dynamics of the Bat family before Damian joined. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to write out a general timeline for when each Robin joined his crusade and when Bruce himself started. I have put a lot of thought into this. Bruce starts his training at 16 years old and finishes at 20 years old, donning his cape and cowl for the first time at age 20. Sometime during his training, he trained under Ra's al Ghul and impregnated Talia al Ghul. Dick Grayson becomes Robin 3 years after Bruce begins his crusade, at 13 years old, making Bruce 23. Dick Grayson leaves to join the Teen Titans as Robin at 15. After he moves out of Wayne Manor, Bruce meets a 14-year-old Jason Todd and makes him Robin. Bruce would now be at 26 years of age. Jason dies 1 year into his career as Robin to show how unprepared he was compared to Dick or Bruce. Bruce swears off taking any more kids into his crusade. This lasts for 3 years before a 15-year-old Tim Drake notices how brutal Batman has gotten without a Robin to keep him in check. Tim deduces Dick's identity, and in turn Bruce's as well. He talks to Bruce, who reluctantly allows him to become Robin under the condition that he train extensively until he's deemed ready. He trained for 1 year before finally donning the cape, making Tim 16 when he becomes Robin, and Bruce 31 years old. Sprinkle in Barbara Gordon as Batgirl and Cassandra Cain as Black Bat after that, and we've got ourselves a working timeline. Yes, I said Black Bat, not Batgirl. That will always be her name to me. She is her own character and does not need to live under the shadow of Barbara. Here's how old they will be after Tim becomes Robin. At the end of the stated timeline, Bruce would be 31, Dick would be 21, Jason died at 15 but would now be 19 if secretly revived immediately afterwards, and Tim would be, of course, 16. With this timeline in mind, Damian could be anywhere between 10 to 14 years old by the time Tim becomes Robin. I would personally make him 10 or 11. I understand some people want a larger age gap between Bruce and Dick, but if you read the source material, this is pretty accurate. Bruce is basically permanently stuck in his mid-30s, whereas Dick is now in his mid-20s, making roughly only a 10-year age gap. In his earlier years, Bruce was a loner, only reluctantly bringing Dick under his wing so he wouldn't turn out like him. After raising Dick, he started feeling more comfortable with the idea of family, so when Dick decided to leave, he was more than willing to bring Jason under his wing. That was until Jason was murdered by the Joker, crushing Bruce and bringing him back to the night his parents were murdered, and making him vow against letting anyone get too close again. When Tim convinced Bruce to let him be Robin, he reluctantly allowed it but continued to tell himself not to get too close. But he couldn't help it. Bruce, above all else, is a man of compassion. Sure, he may try to hide it, but it's there. As the Bat family grows, he gets more and more comfortable with the idea of family again, though he still hesitates to show it all the time. Also, sure, he's brooding, but he's not mean. He has meaningful relationships, even if he hesitates to make them or keep them close. For instance, he is friends with both Superman and Wonder Woman, he views Alfred as a father, and he views each of the Bat family members as his children, whether they're actually related to him or not. It's also because of his compassion that he donates a lot of money to charities, and even creates his own charities to make Gotham safe again. I'm so tired of seeing the argument of Batman only uses his money to beat up the mentally ill when he could just make Gotham better by donating to charity, because he literally fucking does that. Also, simply referring to his enemies as mentally ill is incredibly insulting to their victims. These are people who murder children and literal babies. Someone who crippled a woman with a bullet to the spine before taking nude photos of her bleeding out on the floor and forcing her own father to look at said photos. And people who cannibalize their own fellow human beings. So next time you want to use that argument, shut the fuck up, pick up a comic book, and actually learn about the topic you're trying to discuss before you butt your nose into a conversation you have no business being a part of. It's just so weird that so many non-comic fans have an opinion on characters they know literally nothing about. And I'm not saying you can't be a fan of the characters if you only watch the movies and don't read the source material. Reading comics can be time-consuming, I understand that. But if you don't even watch the movies and the only place you've seen these characters are clips from TikTok, or you get all your information on these characters from people on TikTok who also don't know anything about these characters, you aren't a fan. If you're not a fan, then just stop discussing these characters with actual fans. Stop talking about things that you don't know anything about. Steer away from subjects that you don't have any information on. Like, that's so weird. That's such a weird thing to do. Anyway, I'm sorry. Now that that tangent is over, let's move on. Bruce the Mask is different from Bruce the person. Bruce the Mask is who he pretends to be in public. For instance, his playboy, party boy persona is all an act he puts on for the crowds to throw people off his trail as Batman. No, Batman is not the real Bruce. Nor is Bruce the Mask. Bruce the person is who he actually is. He may claim that Batman is actually the real him, but it is not. As Batman, he is vengeance. He is fear incarnate. He will not kill you, but he will break your bones. But even then, he only acts that way towards people who deserve it. When children are around, Bruce the person peeks his head out. The same goes for people who are genuinely down on their luck. He has been known to hire ex-cons who only turn to crime as a last resort, giving them jobs at various Wayne Enterprises-owned companies. This is another reason I hate all the TikTokers who try to say that he only beats up poor people, because he literally hires poor people that are criminals. Like, he rehabilitates people. That's like his main thing. So he believes all life is precious, and he believes in rehabilitation. And he tries to actually go out and actively rehabilitate people. Dick is now Nightwing. He became Nightwing sometime between when he joined the Teen Titans, but before Jason died. He is witty, always cracking jokes during a fight, and he is also compassionate, although he is not afraid to show it. He is who Batman should be. Jason is always trying to prove himself to everyone else around him, whether it be him trying to prove he's a worthy successor to Robin, or trying to prove that he's more than just the dead Robin as Red Hood. I would like to add he should still be presumed dead during the events of the first movie. If Nightwing is who Batman should be, Tim Drake is who Robin should be. He's the most like Bruce, but without all the negatives. And Damian is a little prick. No, I'm kidding. He's genuinely a great character after development, so I guess I should talk about him. Alright. Damian is complicated. He was trained from birth to be Ra's al Ghul's heir, and so he was taught that compassion was a weakness, and he was also taught to never hesitate to kill. Being Ra's heir gave him a big ego. He always thought he knew better than everyone else around him. So when he joined Batman's side, he was obviously very arrogant and quick to refuse an order, leading to countless screw-ups. He was obnoxious, until he started learning compassion and started following orders. I think he should learn this by the end of the first movie, because if I have to deal with this fucking arrogant little asshole prick for multiple movies, I'm going to shoot my own fucking brains out. Sorry, I promise I do like Damian, I just don't like his early years very much. I like him in the sense of character growth, but it's an obnoxious stage to overcome. Finally, we get to Alfred. Alfred is a character who I feel is never done right in live action for some reason. While I've enjoyed every Alfred we have gotten, none of them have ever been done true justice. In the Burton films, he was just a sweet old man. He was lacking any of his dry wit or edge. In the Schumacher films, he was just the same dude. I will say the Nolan movies got him the most accurate personality-wise. The only real fault I can find is just the look. I don't see Alfred when I look at him. He's just some British dude. My main problem with Reeves' Alfred is kind of similar to Nolan's. He just doesn't look the part. But on top of that, he's just too gruff. I just don't see him as Alfred. I loved the movie. It's my favorite Batman movie of all time. And I enjoyed him as a character. I just don't really like his Alfred very much. Alfred has a very distinct look. He appears prim and proper. He's more than just an old British dude. He's a veteran, but that's not his whole personality. It's just something he did when he was younger. He should have his signature dry British wit. He should be nice, but he should also have an edge to him. He's not someone who you would expect to be able to kick your ass, but absolutely could if he wanted to. And he has a mustache. A thin, prim and proper mustache. It's important. I don't know why we haven't gotten it yet. These are the designs I would use for the costumes for this side of the DCU. I will explain my thoughts behind the costumes, and I will be including different eras of costumes, for instance from different potential animated projects. Blue and gray all the way, baby. Put Batman in a blue and gray suit for the main suit with trunks. I personally prefer the bright blue suit from the 1970s, but if we were going for realism, I think they should do the gray and dark blue suit with a velvety, almost shiny material. That way it will blend into shadow, but you'll be able to see the blue in the light. His first suit in the timeline would be the black and gray suit with no trunks, but after unintentionally scaring a child he was attempting to rescue, he would take inspiration from Superman's suit, taking the blue color scheme and the trunks and incorporating them into his new suit. In fact, I think that's how we should open the first movie. I'll go more into that later. I also think we should make the costume entirely out of fabric, even the mask. I want the hoodie mask that he's able to pull down and hang from the back of his neck like a hood. We also got the fabric costumes in the DCEU. If you can believe that those suits are bulletproof, you can believe a fabric mask is bulletproof as well. When in public, Bruce wears designer suits. I also like the idea that when he makes a big public appearance, he will go clean shaven, but he just lets stubble grow when he's not. The same general idea goes for his hair. When he's making public appearances, he makes sure his hair looks really good, but the rest of the time it's just a shaggy mess. I would design Dick's Robin costume with a red vest, a white and yellow emblem on his right pec like this, add a green leotard underneath the vest with short sleeves and shorts, not booty shorts, but shorts that go down to his knees, and green gloves, green pixie shoes, a black domino mask, and a purely yellow cape. Dick Grayson's Robin costume should be the brightest and flashiest out of all the Robins, to really sell home the idea that his costume was originally designed to be an acrobat costume for the circus before he modified it into a superhero suit. Typically, Tim Drake's costume is the one with the black and red color scheme, but I personally think it fits Jason a lot more. Because of this, I would give Jason a black and red costume with black pants, black wrist fins on his black gloves, a black domino mask, and a spiked pure black cape. I would have the Robin logo on his suit be inverted on his left pec with a black and red color scheme, like this. With Tim, we've returned back to the green and red color scheme, but with pants and slightly darker colors. Not dark, just darker than Dick's. I would also give him a cape that's black on the outer layer and yellow on the inner layer, a black domino mask, and a black and white Robin logo on his right pec, like this. I would also make his costume more armored than the previous ones due to Batman taking more precautions after Jason's death. For some reason, I'm finding it really difficult to put Damian's costume into words, so I'm just going to take a picture from Google. Here we go. And put that on the screen. There you go. Do that. Alfred should always, and I mean always, wear a neat and tidy, prim and proper, clean, black and white suit. Ra's al Ghul should wear flowing robes with a green and gold color scheme. Talia al Ghul should wear a black tactical jumpsuit. Catwoman should wear a black tactical jumpsuit. I think Bruce might have a type. With a black mask with cat ears and red goggles. I will always prefer Nightwing's blue and black suit, though I do have a fondness for the disco era suit. Take away the disco collar and the v-neck and I think that could be the best one. Which is why I would make that the first suit in the animated Teen Titans project set before the first DCU Batman movie. However, after Jason dies, he would take on the red and black suit to honor him. In the comics, he dons the red and black suit after Superboy dies, to honor him, but in the main DCU, I think it would be nice if he did that for his brother instead. Maybe we could do a Black Symbiote-esque storyline where he starts becoming more rageful and brooding after Jason dies. Although eventually he would, of course, start wearing the iconic blue and black suit to go back to his more approachable personality. For his villain arc, Jason should wear the Under the Red Hood outfit, so that's black body armor, blue jeans, a brown leather jacket with no hood, the Red Hood helmet, and no logo. However, once he starts to join the Bat family again, he should wear the white and black hooded jacket and have the Red Hood logo on the chest. The first movie should show Bruce trying to teach compassion to his newfound son Damian, while also showcasing Dick as Nightwing, Tim as Robin, Barbara Gordon as Oracle, and Cassandra as Black Bat. Also, reference Jason Todd's death and have his suit displayed in the Batcave. If it were up to me, I would open the movie with Batman going on a mission to save this child who was kidnapped. He's wearing the black and gray suit with no trunks. When he approaches the child to save him, the child starts crying, clearly terrified of the big bad bat. When he returns to the cave after the mission, he gives his iconic speech where he declares, "When I started this crusade, I set out to scare criminals, not children," before sitting down to design his new suit. He looks up at the Bat computer. One of the monitors is showing a news broadcast of Superman saving a bus full of children. The children are cheering his name. Batman smiles, and we cut to the next night. Batman is now standing on the rooftop in his new costume. He's wearing the blue and gray suit with the trunks. See, where the theme of the Superman movie was hope, I think the obvious theme of this movie should be compassion. We should open the movie showing Batman's first act be one of compassion, to really drive home the core message that he'll need to teach Damian in this movie. For the second movie, I think they should loosely adapt the Under the Red Hood storyline with the full cast. I would especially want to see Jason interact with Tim, maybe being a little more rough with him due to feeling replaced. I feel like he might not feel as replaced by Damian, seeing as how he is Bruce's biological son, whereas Tim is just some random kid in Jason's eyes. I've been seeing people complain that the Bat family has grown too large in recent years. While I don't entirely agree, I do agree that it can seem strange that so many of these characters exist in Gotham, yet aren't in every single story set in Gotham. I mean, it's really not that different from Marvel, come to think of it. I mean, basically every single Marvel character protects New York, yet will sit out a major threat so that one character can have a solo story, but, I mean, still. My solution to this quote-unquote issue is just saying they're on a mission elsewhere in the city. It's really that simple. Hell, make another project showing what they were up to during the events of the project they weren't in. It could be a movie, show, short, or comic. I think that the Bat family members should each be patrolling their own sections of Gotham City every night, or day in Signal's case. It seems the logical choice that Bruce would come to. Have a trained vigilante in every sector so that Gotham is always safe no matter where you are. They can each start their nights, or day in Signal's case, in the cave, gathering intel and their gadgets, before leaving to go on patrol. Then at the end of the night, or day in Signal's case, they return to the cave, return their gadgets, and feed any intel they found that night, or day in Signal's case, to Bruce. Okay, it's so hard to keep a straight face and say that part. Okay, I think that's it for this video. I might come up with some pitches for other DCU adjacent projects, but that is it for this particular video. With all that being said, I suppose it's time to wish you all a good morning, good evening, or good night. I stole that from The Truman Show. I love you all platonically. Please like and subscribe and maybe leave a comment of affirmation. I need it to feed my giant ego. Okay, bye.